Hey there, welcome to Yoga Mama Online. What we're going to do right now is a short, gentle flow that can help you be prepared physically to sit for meditation. This is also a nice, gentle flow that you can do at any time throughout the day, and if you only have like 15 minutes to practice. So this is something that I do almost every day. I might add a few things in here and there, but this is a very dependable daytime routine, especially for busy women who don't have a whole lot of time. So I have my friend Michelle here, also a Yoga Mama student, and she's going to help demonstrate this gentle flow. So the first thing that we're going to do is come into a comfortable cross-legged position. And so you'll notice that Michelle grabbed hold of a pad, a blanket, underneath her hips, and then her cross legs are not going to be stacked on top of each other. So a little less like this and a little more open. And what that can do is create a little bit more softness in the low back when you begin. And the elevation also does that, especially if you're feeling a little stress in the back. You want to elevate the hips as high as you need. So coming into that comfortable seat, always take a couple of clarifying breaths when you begin. Each in-breath just expanding into that gentle outer range of the body. And the exhale can be a little bit of a sigh, a letting go of any tension that might have accumulated overnight, any stiffness. And then just find a nice natural rhythm of deep breathing. And for the purpose of this flow, normally you might sit for a few more moments before you get to move, but for the purpose of this flow, we're going to get moving right away. So the first thing I'm going to have Michelle do is bring her hands out in front of her shins and fold forward just to create a little stretch in the low back and hip area. And so Michelle's got a lot of flexibility, so she goes pretty far, but you don't have to go too far. You can come any length, any forward fold to feel a nice stretch. And she might wander her hands from side to side. You can move anything you need, Michelle. And then just stretching through those low back hip tissues. And she has a nice neutral neck. Go ahead and come back up to upright and switch legs. So you'll naturally gravitate towards your habit leg, the habit leg forward first. So the second side is typically tighter, and you might linger an extra breath or two, breathing and wandering side to side. And then also just making sure that your neck is nice and long. So we have a tendency also to hold the neck, chin forward. Just try to think about your neck being nice and long. You can even let that go as you need. Yeah, nice breath there. Walk the hands back in, and we're going to come on to hands and knees. And Michelle will habitually take padding underneath her knees, I'm assuming, or do you not want padding? Yeah, so we do in class, I'm always asking students to pad their knees so that the knees stay nice and comfortable through this. And just take a few cat-cow movements. So the in-breath, you want to open the front of the body, and the out-breath, you open the back of the body. And you can move in whatever way feels good. You'll notice Michelle bends her arms, just whatever way feels most natural to start loosening up any stagnation in the spine. We're trying to get a current going and get the nervous system rewarded through this movement. And after this next exhale, returning to table, just go ahead and sink back into an extended child's pose that feels good for your body. So Michelle feels really comfortable in child's pose, so she can sink nice and deep. Her knees are wider than her torso, so her belly can fit right in between the thighs there. And she likes the energy of reaching those fingertips. You see she's got little, what we call finger tents there. You can flatten those palms, and you can even soften the elbows as you need to if you don't have that same kind of extension. Go ahead and roll the mind out on the earth. It's a nice way to anchor the mind. If you're doing this in the morning, actually, or in the evening, I always awaken with my mind going 100 miles an hour. So grounding the thinking center can be very helpful. And then we'll just come into table, tuck toes, and find down dog. So down dog, primary intention is hands to hips, nice long spine. And then you can bend your knees as much as you need to make this comfortable. You'll notice her feet are not touching the ground, or the heels rather. Otherwise, she'd be levitating. But her heels are not touching the ground. And that is perfect. That's fine. We don't want to overstretch, because sometimes we'll round the back to get those heels down. And then just walk forward into a hanging forward bend. And find your weight balanced over the center of the feet. You can cross your elbows if you like. And just draw the upper body down. And take a breath or two there. And then we'll come to standing upright. So I'm going to have her walk her hands up her thighs, Just in the morning, our blood pressure can be low, can get a little dizzy. And then inhale, sweep the arms up, grab hold of the right wrist. Yeah, right wrist. And then lean to the left and cross that right foot over. So when you cross the feet, squeeze the root and reach up through the fingertips and lean. You're going to get a nice stretch across that right side. And uncross, inhale through center, exhale the other side, grabbing hold, and just a nice lateral stretch there. Yeah, and just taking a couple breaths, really feeling the loosening up of the ribs, the whole left side. Inhale through center, exhale, sweep the hands all the way down to the side. Perfect. So go ahead and turn towards the camera. And we're going to do something, this is a morning movement, so it's just a little bit of a way to awaken your lymph system. And so feet are a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and we're going to kind of twist and allow the hands to gently tap the body. You'll notice she's rolling over her toes, stretching, and just opening, and kind of this, I sort of liken it to an old-fashioned washing machine, the kind that I prefer. And it's just a way to kind of stimulate awakening. So I wouldn't recommend this at bedtime. And come back into neutral and find the front of your mat. Okay. Big sweep, inhale up, exhale, forward fold down, and just plant the hands on the earth or block. So again, Michelle's got a lot of flexibility, so she can reach the earth easily, but I'll have you demonstrate with blocks. So you can soften your knees as much as you need to, yeah. So it doesn't matter how flexible you are. Let's go ahead and step the left foot back into a lunge position and drop that knee. And so we're going to work on that leaning forward version of this lunge. And she's just going to kind of pulse here very subtly, just this adjustment to feel the pelvis, to feel the extension of that back leg. And if you want, you don't have to. I'm going to have Michelle stay where she is. You can bring the arms up if you're feeling like you want that right away, or you can stay grounded. And then go ahead and shift the hips back and extend through that front leg. And this is the same thing where you're going to pulse into sensation. So like I said, Michelle's got a lot of flexibility, so her leg is relatively straight. But keep toes. I do this in class all the time, every single class. Toes and knees facing skyward, and your knee can be as bent as you need. One last breath. Shift the weight forward. And I'm going to have her tuck her back toes and come into a wide-legged forward bend. Now, if you can't reach the earth, just bring your blocks around with you, and you can bring them under your hands. Like I said, Michelle's got lots of good flexibility. Good demonstration, let your neck go, that's fine. And then maybe a little lunging side to side. And have her keep her feet glued. That actually stretches the outside of, it's called anterior tibialis, across that front side of the shin. And this also stretches, the lunging stretches the inner thighs very nicely, especially early in the morning, it's quite nice. And come back through neutral, one breath there. And I'll have her walk her hands towards the right foot into a lunge. And come back either into down dog or a table. You can choose down dog. From table, you could do a little cat-cow. And then we're going to take the opposite foot forward. So for her, it'll be her... is it your right foot? Yeah. Right foot. Okay. So right foot forward, drop that back knee. Is that right? Yep. No, it's not right. Okay. Right. That's okay. We're just going to keep going. All right. So left foot forward and dropping that back knee. Yeah. Okay. So just pulsing on that front range. That's why I'm the teacher. All right. So lunging on that front range. And again, when we lean into a pose, you want action in the body. And you want strength, stability, and stretch. You never want to just push too far into the stretch. Just one more breath. Then extend that front leg, shifting back. Yeah, so now you can see that extended leg a little better on this side. And she's really flexible. I never quite get that straight. Just pulsing the sensation so that you can, I'm going to touch your butt, so you can feel that sensation right around that part of the body. And since we've already done the wide-legged a forward bend on the other side, we're just going to shift forward and ground the hands on the earth and step back into table and take your knees wide and do some nice big hip circles back to the heels. So when you complete a circle, just reverse that direction, go the opposite way, or if you do a few one way, just do a few the other way. And it's just really nice way to loosen up the hips, particularly because that's where you will find your seat for meditation. Yeah, that feels really good, doesn't it? I could do that for 9 years. All right, so coming back into neutral, I'm going to have you sit back. What we're going to do is come into a seated twist. So go ahead and shift your hips off to the right. I'll have you turn forward. Go ahead and take a, bring your body over here, and then knees off to that right as opposed to this right. Yeah, okay. So you'll notice her front foot is touching that inner thigh. Some of you might feel a little tight. If you need to bring the knees in over the top of that foot, that's fine. Just taking a nice twist for the heart. Inhale, long spine, and exhale, twist over to the right. So each in-breath, you want to think about length, and each exhale, think about wringing out that spine. And full exhalation. Twists are pretty detoxifying. It also stimulates your lymph system. They're also grounding. It's a very balancing posture. And after this next exhale she's about to take, I'm going to have her roll through the center and switch legs over to the other side. Good. Nice deep breathing. So you probably can't hear it, but Michelle's found a really nice deep breath. There's more space after we move for the breath to occur. Last exhale. And then unwinding out of the pose, I'm going to have her come into a kneeling position, a kneeling seated position for meditation. So Michelle sets herself up, so she's not using a blanket today. Sometimes we have blankets there, but she uses a single block on the vertical horizontal. Her heels are snug in under her sits bone. This is for people with really healthy knees, nice and comfortable. So you'll also notice, bring your hands forward a little bit for me. You'll notice a nice natural curve in her low back there. And do you feel nice and tall? So kneeling, what I like about kneeling is that it's a little bit easier to get length in the torso. And you'll notice she turned her palms forward. That brightens the heart, opens the shoulders just a little bit across the front. We tend to be very congested here. And this can be a really nice place to begin your meditation practice. We'll talk in another video about some of the more finding a comfortable seat in meditation. And this is one of those demonstrations. So you can either take a few moments. I really recommend at least 3 minutes to sit here and breathe deep and do your own meditation practice, whatever that might look like for you. And you can also come into a resting pose if that's more nourishing for you, if you're just about to go to bed too. Okay, so thank you for your time. Enjoy your day or night. Namaste.